Good morning. Hello, Bonita High School and St. Amos High School admin. I wish I could see your face right now, but I can't. You get to see mine, which is, I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse or whatnot, but I'm a little tired if I look that way. This video was supposed to make it to you in this email last week, just kind of a wrap up of the PSAT and SAT courses, but God has an interesting way of timing and doing things. And so my wife had a baby last week and he came early. I was supposed to wrap up classes, but um, some of my other teachers stepped in and clutched up and kind of brought things to a close. But what I wanted to do here is just make a short, sweet little video to just kind of summarize everything that went on over the 6 or 8 week program and just give you some tools and some resources to kind of check out student data and to see some feedback we got and really just see what happened over the 8 weeks. So in the email that I sent to you, I've included your login as an admin so you can kind of check out some things and see some things. Well, where you're going to go is horizoneducation.com. This is a company that I partner with and I purchase the learning management system and all the assessments, the data, everything comes through this company. They manage all the data for me. I'm in charge of basically all the curriculum and the instruction, and hopefully, by the end we have a phenomenal product. So you would go to horizoneducation.com and you'd click on the top right, sign in. I've done this so many times, I know it by heart. See if I can get it right on the first try. Okay, perfect. This is, I'm just hopped into Bonita because alphabetically it's first and it's there. And what you're going to see is a student portal. You can see right off the bat two different sections, right? We've got the PSAT course, the amount of students that were enrolled in the portal, and the SAT course. And I just kind of want to show you around. I know Gene's a big numbers guy. He likes to look at data. And I'm going to kind of get into what I think was pretty much one of the most valuable things that parents and students took away from the 6 and 8 weeks, besides the instruction, the strategies and the practice, the guided practice, the content review. I mean, there's so much there as far as practical ways for students to raise their scores on a test. Besides that, I think the biggest takeaway for parents and students is the data. And I'm going to show you why I think this is such a valuable tool for them. Now, we've got really two options. We've got our SAT students and we've got our PSAT students. And the PSAT, I felt like this data was so important for them because in the future, they're going to be taking the SAT. So what we did is we actually proctored this assessment for them to kind of ensure that they did their best and they got really an accurate score. The SAT kids, I gave them a little more leniency on when they took their practice assessments. They took two just because we wanted to get them as much practice as possible, and some of those kids wanted to see improvement. And you can see just right off the bat from assessment 1 and assessment 2, we have improvement. And right off the bat, what I'm seeing here is, we have one score from a 14 to 15, but look at this one. We had a score from a 15 to a 16. That's just insane. The type of score. I've personally only tutored one kid that's gotten in the 15. So beautiful right off the bat, but you can see the improvement. Now, if you're an admin and you kind of want to check out the score reports, they're going to be very similar for the SAT and the PSAT, but let me just show you for the PSAT a sample score report that a student's going to get after they take the assessment. And I want to show you why this is so amazing to me. Okay, so you can see that we had 3 kids that were in the 13 to the 14 range from Bonita in the PSAT class. We got some bright kids. I can tell obviously that your teachers and your students are hungry and the content's rigorous that you're teaching at school, because I can see the scores and it's a beautiful thing. Now let's come down here and you can see all the names of the students that kind of participated. And let's just take someone with, I don't know, kind of a mediocre score. Kaylee. Let's just look at Kaylee, for example. An 1190, it's good. It's not great. And what is Kaylee going to get back from her PSAT course? Well, you can see here, and this is all stuff that she can access. She scored nationally in the 91st percentile. So I said it's good. It's actually really good. It's just not phenomenal. And you can see down here, we have a breakdown of her reading and writing and her math. Now, typically, the math score's lower. So for Kaylee, she's kind of an exception. Her math score was higher than her reading score. So she knows right off the bat kind of where she needs to put her emphasis over the next year and where she wants to study to kind of raise her score. Now let's go even further down here. We've got top opportunities for them to raise their score. It gives them basically some different standards there that she could focus on. But let me show you what's really beautiful about this. Now, what we're going to see down here is her reading, her writing, math calculator, and math no calculator. And it's going to give us an exact breakdown of the questions that she got right, the questions that she got wrong, and what area that covers. And let me show you, because we actually broke down some of the score reports with students for them on how to read them and interpret them. And what you see on every score report that a student gets is trends. You see trends of areas of weakness, areas of strength. So let's go ahead and look at the math no calculator section. Um, no, it's going to do the math calculator. There's more questions here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to come down here, and you can see right off the bat that she just came out the gate hot. She got the first 11 correct. Now, let's look for some trends. Probability question was wrong. Linear inequalities was wrong. Let's come down here. Best line of fit, that's also kind of a linear standard. Best line of fit, again, a linear standard. So we can already see that, maybe from freshman year or even 8th grade, depending on when she took integrated 1, just linear equations and best line of fit is an area. If she just spent a little bit of time on there on Khan Academy, a couple minutes a day, that's going to really increase her score. Percentages, yeah, so linear equations down here again, probability again. So for me, and when I would break down the score report for her and I showed her how to do this, it's like she can already see, okay, probability, I need to work on that. Linear equations and best line of fit, I need to work on that. Okay, and then she would do the same thing and go back through the math no calculator section and go through those. Now, what's great too is we release these assessments to the students privately, so that way they can actually go back and look at the questions they got wrong and spend some time with us after class, right, on certain sessions and go over questions that they wanted specific remediation with. So it's really neat just for them to have an actual PSAT test, right, that gives them a breakdown like this. Because when they take the PSAT through College Board, it's not going to give them individualized personal data for them on their strengths and weaknesses. It just tells them their score, and that's pretty much it. That's all they get back from College Board. So what I wanted to kind of stress was this component for students is so valuable, even for the SAT kids, because if they're a junior, right, and they're taking the SAT, a lot of these standards, even on the PSAT kids that took the PSAT class as a junior, all these standards, they come back. The PSAT and the SAT are the same thing. It's just a shortened test. So what I wanted to do is just kind of show you what students had access to as far as their data, some of the assessments that we gave them. And one other thing I just wanted to show you is in your, I attached for you, and typically the last week of class, when I do a wrap up, we take a Google form and kids fill out a Google form, and the Google form basically says, what class are you in? What's your name? What'd you like about the course? What are 2 strategies that really hit you the hardest that you're going to take away with? And like some additional comments and feedback. And we really encourage the kids to say, hey, if you were to take this course again, what would you want us to do differently, right? Like what could we have done better, right? Because we always want to improve things, and students usually have some feedback. Typically, the last week of school, I give the Google form, and we would have had, I don't know, 80 per school respond. But remember, I was in the hospital, so I tried to just email out the Google form to kids to their private emails, and you know how that goes. Some of them, like you can see here, we got some great San Dimas feedback. These ones on top are Bonita, I believe. But I attached the what is an Excel spreadsheet just so you can go through and kind of look at some of the student feedback. It was phenomenal. They're just the few kids that gave us feedback, it was incredible. They just ate up the course like crazy, and I think it was very beneficial to them, and it wasn't a waste of their time. They felt it was valuable. So I'm gonna hopefully this video is gonna wrap up before the 10-minute mark. I appreciate you. If you have any questions whatsoever for me on the course, the students, the data, the portal, you name it, you have my number, you have my email. All I want to do is help kids and help families with their journey to post-secondary success. And I feel like we did that, but there's always room for improvement. So I just want to tell you, thank you for the opportunity, and I'll be in touch. See ya.